So first of all, we already talked about preventable death and the astonishing load of consequence that we've had here with SARS-CoV-2 over the last couple of years, and we already had a conversation recently about where we are in the pandemic. Most of us thought, who work in ID epidemiology, that this was going to be a 3 to 5 year ride, and we're at the beginning of year 3, so no real surprises here. So constant vigilance. All right. I really want to get we already got a great presentation on monkeypox. I don't want to dwell. I want to get to one slide in particular. First, I'll show you the Nebraska Respiratory Illness Dashboard. I'm sure you're there all quite a bit, but just to observe two things in particular. One is that our cases are climbing and they're back above where we were in 2020 this time of the year with the pandemic. Just be aware of that. And then also look at our test positivity rate. It's above 10%, climbing up to 15%. So we are observing too little to see what our COVID burden is and where we should be promoting primary vaccination. More on that in a moment. And if one does not seek, one does not find. Where are we with variants? I'm sure you all also have become adept at looking at the CDC slide. Do you see the variant screen now? Are these
Yes.
moving? Great.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that. And so as you see, BA2.12.1 is continuing. So why are we seeing all these variants? In no small part, it's because the US and other countries in the world that are well connected everywhere else continue to have a really substantial burden of cases. And so the engine of making variants possible continues. And that leads to my wanting to show you this. So I thought this was a pretty cool addition by CDC. What they've started doing is plotting the comparative consequence for those who are vaccinated versus those who are not. And two things should immediately jump out at each of us in looking at this slide. First of all, that the deaths, 30 per 100,000, the deaths in this are substantial. Look at that spike in death just in February when the last Omicron variant showed up. The other thing that should really jump out at each of us is just the astonishing difference between the burden of death, preventable death, with primary vaccination, and also particularly for those at risk and for who it is recommended by ACIP, the benefit that one gets by boosting. So once again, we're starting to tick up a little bit actually as we enter the summer. It's not a good sign for the return, frankly, in the fall of this school year and everything else attendant with how we behave and interact in the fall, what that portends. So we really need to be pushing primary vaccination as well as ensuring that folks are aware of their recommendations personally for obtaining boosters if relevant. But primary vaccination is still the 500-pound canary that needs to perch and how we promote continued readiness here with SARS-CoV-2. And we really need to be promoting earlier identification of cases and use of testing services because we are lagging. Now, one piece of good news is that nationally, the case rates look like they might be plateauing for a little bit. That is not a sign that we won't have another national level spike. It suggests, however, that we may be seeing the horizon for the current jump in cases here over the next couple of weeks. But that just means it's an opportunity to intervene so that the next variant that sweeps through here in the mid late summer and early fall is well met by folks who have at least gotten primary vaccination and are getting readily accessible high fidelity testing with nucleic acid based assessments. Thank you.